Hello, anyone that's actually out there. Oh, what's that dirt on my screen? Okay. Hello, 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 people. Hello. Hello, people. All right. Nice close up my face there. Oof, that was brutal. All right. Hello, Connor. Welcome. All right. Wait a couple minutes until people start showing up. It's always a little slow at the beginning. What? Why is my screen bobbling all over the place? Oh, I guess I must have tapped the cord somehow. Oops. Why is the strike going on? Because they want to be treated fairly. Plain and simple. Anytime a group of people strikes, it's because they want to be treated fairly. I mean, there's a lot of strikes that people are being greedy, but in this case, the writer's strike, they are 1,000%, just wanting to be treated fairly. In the actor's case, the big name actors, they're not going to be hurt by it, but your smaller actors who don't get millions of dollars a year, there's a lot of things that they have to worry about there. I'm going to protest to save Arrowverse. Well, you're never going to save something that's already dead. Can't save something that's dead. I would advise find something more interesting to put your time into, because that's not coming back. Hello, Abby. Welcome. How you doing, man? All right. So, fair warning, it is warm in my room. I was actually hoping it was going to be cool enough by the time I did this that it wouldn't be too annoying, but it's already kind of getting warm. And so I don't know how long I'll be. I might be half an hour, I might be an hour, but just be warned, I might not stay on forever. I mean, say Legends of Tomorrow is a thing. Well, it's a thing in the sense of people saying it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's not. It's never. You can't save something that's dead. You can't. It's dead. It's fucking done. I feel like with the studio stance on waiting till the writers go homeless or out of apartments means that negotiations may go towards the studio's favor. Not a chance in hell. So a couple of things. First of all, did you notice literally the next day, studio execs came out and was like, we didn't say that. That definitely wasn't us. We totally want this to be sorted out. Because they saw the pushback they got on it, and they realized their plan failed epically. Do I believe studio execs came out with that comment? Yes. Do I believe they thought they were going to get the pushback they got? No. They thought this is going to break the writers, make them feel scared, go to their reps and be like, please, we need a deal so soon, please do it or else we're going to be homeless. And they thought this is going to somehow break them. And what they got in return was the writers are like, you can't threaten us with homelessness. Every week we're practically on the verge of homelessness. You can't threaten someone that's already got nothing with nothing. And they just basically laughed in their faces, and then they turned it around on them and made it a PR nightmare for them. And within, 14, 16 hours, you had studio execs coming out and going, that's not us. We didn't say that. We wouldn't do that. That was basically, thank you, Ghost. I go through them pretty quickly, so these will probably only be around for a couple of months. But studio execs right away were like, we didn't say that, as soon as they saw the backlash from it, because They thought it was going to make writers scared, and instead it empowered the writers to be like, screw you, we're really going to take you to the cleaners now. And they are. They now have actors on strike too. So the writers were already on strike. And I think the reason that comment came out when it did, I think the reason that they gave Variety that little tidbit was because they were afraid once the actors joined up with the writers, they're going to be in a tire fire of horridness for them. Studio execs, there's going to be some by the time this is all sorted out that will lose their jobs over this. Not all of them. There's some that have got cushy deals, or they're so untouchable at their company they're never gonna get fired. But there's gonna be a couple that are gonna lose their jobs over how badly they got shot over this, because they're going to bleed money from all the things they have to give up, that if they had just been reasonable from the beginning, they might have actually gotten a deal that was a little more positive for the studio. I think if they had gone in to the negotiations with the writers early on and been like, hey, we'll give you this, we agree not to do this, and we agree not to do this, because there's two big sticking points, and that's mostly around AI and stuff like that. They had gone and said, we'll give you this, and we agree not to do this and this thing, but you got to give us this thing. I think the writers would have looked at that and went, we got most of what we wanted, let's take it. And they could have avoided all that. But they didn't. Instead, they tried to dig down and fight tooth and nail over every detail, and now they're going to end up costing themselves more down the road, because the writers, when they finally do agree to a deal, aren't going to be like, you know what, we're ready to give up some things that we originally wanted. They're going to be like, you're giving us everything, or we just don't work. And eventually the studios are going to have to cave in. Now, on the actor side, I still think, I said this a while ago, I think we'll get an actor's deal done sooner than a writer's deal. The writers are fighting for more major things, and they have more risk. Actors, the small bottom of the rung actors, yeah, they're going to be struggling, but you have so many high-end actors that can just accept any deal and be like, yeah, that's fine for me. That might be a little different, but in the writer's case, most writers struggle to keep their jobs. I think the writer's strike will still be going on in the fall. I think the actor strike gets solved in the summer. I think the writer's strike still goes on into the fall. So let me see what else you guys have been saying, because I see a couple of bigger comments here. Greg, Mark, Jeff are protesting too. Yeah, everybody's protesting. Everybody. Because most of those people, all like Greg, Mark, Jeff, despite what you think of their work, all of them started off as writers. They all started as writers at one point. So they know what everyone's going through. With the exception of maybe Mark, because Mark had lawyer money before he got involved. They've probably all gone through the struggle of not knowing if they've got a job next week. Hello Chainsaw, hello Simulator, hello Lionel, hello Laura, hello Abby. I don't know if I missed anybody. Let's see what else we got here. What if studio execs say we will not produce anything anymore and let's just burn Hollywood down? Bunch of independents will take over a week later. You know how much money there is in this? There's never going to be a time where the big wigs just go, you know what, we quit. This was too much hassle for us, and someone else doesn't just take over that spot. Never. Ever, ever is that a thing. Good evening. Not sure how long I'll be on. Been sick with a bad infection. I'm on 2 strong antibiotics. It's getting better, but still not great. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that, Lionel. I have had, because of my teeth, I am pretty prone to infections like in the mouth and ears and nasal cavity and stuff like that. I've gone through that quite a few times. There was a point at one point about 4, 5, 6 years ago. I think I had like an infection. It would clear up, went through the process of it clearing up, and I would get a new different one like 3 weeks later for almost 4 months, almost straight. Like I would get one, it would clear up. I'd have 2 to 3, 4 weeks off, and then another one would come in. So I understand all of that. I'm sorry to hear that. I do hope it gets better. It is frustrating. Did you see John Cryer speak up about what? You got to be more specific, man. I mean, probably. Why do studios even want to utilize AI in its current state? Things like ChatGPT are good, but nowhere good enough to replace human written scripts. For a few reasons. Cost. I know I've told you this, you guys, before, and I am sure you have been here for at least one of the times I've said it, Abby. They don't care about quality. They don't care about quality. They will never, ever, ever, ever care about the quality of a product. If they can give you a product for $1 and in return they can get $50 million out of it, they will happily take that return instead of putting $50 million into a project to get $70 million. They're always going to look and be like, what's the cheapest we can make this and still make money on it? They do not care about quality, never care about quality. Quality is at the bottom of their concern scale. Their concern scale is how much money is this going to cost us? How much money can we make from it? And if that scale keeps going up at the same rate, they will take the lowest option. If it costs them $1 to make 50 million, they will spend that $1 overspending $50 million to make over 100 million, because in their mind, that $1 got them 50 million times the return on it, as opposed to spending 50 million and only getting double back. They will never care about quality. That's why they would take ChatGPT in a second, because if they can cut out writers, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars they save. They don't care if it's good, because they know we're still gonna like watch it. You know, yeah, they might once in a while fail on something, but the odds are in their favor that enough garbage is thrown at us. Eventually, one of those pieces of garbage will hit with us, and we'll watch it. So, that is, oh man, this cord. Why today am I hitting it all the time on the corner? So yeah. That's a short answer for it. Long answer is they might not even be looking at ChatGPT as a full-time viable option right now, but it is at least an option that is in their pocketbook right now. They could go out, and this is one of the things the writers are fighting for. They could go out, be like ChatGPT, write me a script for The Flash. The ChatGPT writes them a script for The Flash, and then they go to one writer or two writers and be like, I need you to fine-tune this a little bit. We've already got the base for it. They've just taken out 10 to 16 weeks of work for the writers that are now not getting paid for that. A team of writers has been eliminated, so one or two people can polish up the mistakes that ChatGPT might have made. That's the type of thing they're fighting for. I support good writers getting paid fairly, but after watching The Flash Season 9 and Witcher Season 3, some of these writers shouldn't be on strike. You're blaming a lot of that on the writers, which some of it's on the writers, but a lot of that also is on the studio. There's so many layers that come down to the writers in the end. Then we all blame it on the writers. I do it too. I am a hypocrite about this too. Writers are really only responsible for like 20% of the problems that a show has. At the end of the day, you have studio execs, you have studio presidents, whoever else is at the top end of that thing. You then have producers, and then you have showrunners. Then you have acting schedules. All of these things are problems the writers are supposed to solve. They're all things. Hey, Gary, how you doing, man? They're all things that the writers are expected to solve magically. Let me get to Gary's question here, and then we'll get back on this topic. Do you think Superman and Lois will be delayed till fall 2024? Right now, Gary, I think there is a good chance that happens. Yes, for the first time in all the times you have asked me this question, I think there's actually a really good chance something like this could happen. I don't know if it will happen, but we're already at the point where I don't see them starting. I don't see them starting earlier than they did last year's season, which was what, February or March they started last year. So this next season, the 2024 season, they will not start before March. They haven't. I mean, we're still on strike, let alone filming, let alone any of that. We will not have them before March of 2024 like we had this year. If I were looking at it right now, they have a microscopic window of a couple weeks, and I mean literally a couple weeks, for them to get it in before the summer break. They have the most microscopic window. I think they have 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 weeks that they could endure this strike going on, that they could maybe somehow get that show out before the summer break of 2024. Any longer than that, and they're not gonna put it out in the summer. They're not. You got to remember, the CW is about money now. The CW isn't there to appease Warner Brothers and CBS. They are their own entity who is worried about their own bottom line. They're going to want Superman and Lois on when people are watching television, which is in the fall through to the spring. So they themselves will be like, we're not airing this until the fall when we can get some profit out of it. So if they can't get the show on the air by like April and have it end in like early June, they're not putting it out until the fall. So yeah, Gary, I actually, for once, yeah, I do think it's really possible you could be waiting till the fall. I know no one wants to hear that, but unfortunately, yeah. But yeah, back to your question, Simulator, about the fairness. Yeah, some problems clearly are on the writers. I mean, the writers aren't imperfect or perfect. They make mistakes too. But a lot of that is the studios, producers, showrunners, and the actors that put them in a position where they can't give you the best product. There's a possibility that the Flash writers gave us better writing, and the studio or the producers or the showrunner or the actors were like, we can't work with that. Happens all the time. Lots of things are left on the cutting room floor in a script because they can't make it work for reasons outside of their control. So, you know, you can blame the writers, sure, but I think out of 100% of the blame, they get about 25%. I heard that the studios in London are still filming House of the Dragon season 2. Yeah, because London actors aren't under SAG AFTRA. SAG AFTRA is basically just American actors. Same here in Canada. Technically, we have productions here in Canada that still could be working. But the vast majority of things have American actors in them somewhere, you know? And because of that, those productions can't move forward. But in this case of House of the Dragon 2, it's probably almost all European actors, and they aren't really going to be impacted by it. This is mostly an American strike, but you know, some cases that's going to cause problems for other countries, right? Like in the UK, let's say Tom Cruise perfect example. I think I just read today, Mission Impossible 8 has to be put on hold because of strike, because obviously Tom Cruise and several of the other people in that movie are SAG AFTRA actors, and even though the production is done somewhere else, they can't work on it. Doesn't matter where you film it, they can't work on it. You could film on Mars, and the SAG AFTRA rules still exist to those actors. And we'll go over that in a few minutes, by the way, the rules about this. It is more stringent than I even thought it would be. And I expected it to be pretty stringent, but it's even more stringent than I thought it was. But we'll get to that in a minute. Hire only good writers and pay them fairly rather than hire mid-writers and pay them fairly and not fire them. Thing is, here's the problem simulator to this issue. We have between television, streaming, okay, let me rephrase that. Between network television, cable, premium cable, streaming, and then movies, there is not enough of work to go around for only best writers. You eventually have to hire some writers that aren't the best. There's a reason the CW doesn't get the same writers that were on Breaking Bad. It's because they don't have the same budget for that. So when you're complaining about the writers the Flash gets, don't forget that they're close to the bottom in priority. If you're a top writer, let's say it's on a scale of 1 to 100, 1 being the lowest, 100 being the greatest. The Flash, in the quality of writers they're able to attract to come to their show, is probably at like 20. They're near the bottom. Because who's going to go work for the CW when they can work on HBO, ABC, NBC, a movie, Netflix, all these things that are going to, like, CW is not the top. CW is not the place you go as your first choice unless you really have a love for a show there. Like, if you love The Flash or you loved Superman, growing up, maybe you do go there first because you just want to work on your passion project. But those are few and far between. The most of the writers that the CW is hiring, they're taking whoever's available to them, and that is almost always in the bottom third of quality. So, unless you're willing to start cutting down a whole bunch of the networks, which I would be in favor for myself, but it's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. 253. All right. We have Gary right here. Are you mad at me? I doubt the actors on the CW would want to be delayed until fall 2024. I am never mad at you, Gary. I believe you already know this. I doubt the actors want it to be delayed either, but they also aren't going to just be like, oh, well, you know what? We can't have this show wait forever. Let's just strike a deal and take a loss so that this show can get out sooner. No. At the end of the day, they're thinking about this as their job, and they're like, we need to make sure we have a good job still. And they're definitely willing to put off having that. They'll wait until 2025 to do the show if it means them getting a good deal. Yeah. I lost my spot. 254. There we are. Mark started as a lawyer. That is correct. This is the first time SAG has gone on strike since 1980. This is the first time that both SAG is, since 1960. Yeah. How's James Gunn handling during the strike? No idea. Who knows? He's on Twitter a lot, so he maybe has said something about it. I love the tweet that came out. The actors and writers ask for donations for snacks and drinks and etc. Yeah, see, I think here's the thing. I saw some people pushing back on that. They're like, oh, what do they need their money for? Dude, the majority of people that are under SAG AFTRA aren't Tom Cruise. They aren't even Grant Gustin. They aren't even Brandon McKnight. They're people that get 4 to 6 episodes here, 2 episodes there, a TV commercial here, a TV movie here. They're what the term is called working actors. They go from one gig to another gig to another gig, and they're getting paid okay wages, but they're not. They don't have a permanent job. They don't have a. They don't have a job where they're guaranteed income for 12 consecutive months. They have a job where they're guaranteed income anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple of months, and then they have to find that next job, and that's not a guarantee all the time. So they're the ones that are probably needing the benefit. I mean, at the end of the day, if Tom Cruise is out there walking the picket line, he's not going to be dipping into the free snacks fund. It's going to be that guy that has been on 3 episodes of a TV show and got paid like $7,000, and that's all the money he's made in the industry, and he's had to pay union fees into that, and has maybe made a net profit of a couple $1,000s. That's the guy that's dipping into the snack fund. So, yeah. Should we expect a delay on projects? Yep. You will expect large delays. Starting almost the start of the fall season, you'll be starting to see delays. John Cryer speaking up for the strike. Well, of course he is. What I'm really predicting is they will come to a deal, but we will have to pay for it, not the studio. They'll increase prices of streaming. Yes, that's 100% going to happen. There's 0% chance the studios break a deal in the end and go, you know what? We're fine giving you a better piece of the pie. They're not going to, no. Let's say right now, give me a second to do some fancy artwork here. Okay. Excuse my artwork. Give me a second. I have to make it so that you can understand the difference. So, okay, let's say right now, the way things are right now, this is a pie chart of profits. That little sliver there, that's what writers are taking out of the profit margin of the studio. This little pie piece here is probably the actors. The rest of this is all studio profit, or, close to. This is, if they didn't up the price of like the new subscription, if after the deal's over and they strike a deal that would be fair, this is how that would look all of a sudden to the studio, which is still a lot of profit. We look at that and we're like, well, they still have more than 3/4 of the profit pie. But to them, they're like, oh my God, we're losing money because this is how it used to look before. And they're going to be like, we can't afford to do that. So what they're going to do, they're just going to increase the price so that the pie chart comes closer to this again. That's how they will handle it. You and I and everybody else will pay the price. Whatever your streaming service fee, let's say, you're a subscriber to TV something. I don't want to use one of the regular companies because I don't actually know their price structures. But let's say TV something is a streaming service and TV something is charging you $20 a month. When they come out of the strike, it's going to be $26 a month. And then probably by the end of like year 2, it's going to be $29 a month because they're going to want to make that money back that they just had to give to other people. So yeah, you're right. You're right. We will be paying more for it. I'm not sure if Andrew is protesting too. You might not remember him. Andrew, you'd have to put a last name, but the only Andrew I'm thinking you're talking about maybe is Kreisberg? I don't know. Wait for Superman and Lois is going to be painful. Yeah. What if the strike happened 10 years ago? What do you mean? You need more And you need to add more to the question than that, man. um, anyway, you're right. I don't want to put all the blame on the writers. I sent that comment because I saw a tweet of Eric Wallace out on the street striking for writers. Yeah, as he should be. He's a writer too. Some international productions like Dune, The Sisterhood, House of the Dragon will continue shooting because many of the actors aren't. Yeah, we just talked about that a minute ago, Lionel. Tag you in a tweet where they're discussing film 212 million. Asked what the F is happening. Yeah, I saw that tweet, but I was busy getting set up for this, and I didn't really reply to it. Yeah, that's crazy. 212 million. How many episodes is it? 6, 8, something like that. That's stupid. That is stupid money. I think the era of $200 million projects, and outside of like your 4 or 6 epic movies a year, are over. I think you'll see a huge cutback in production costs. Part of that being because they're going to have to start paying writers and actors a bit more. I think you'll see those costs come down too. A movie that they might have thrown $100 million at to make in the past, they'll now be like, you got to do this for $75 million, stuff like that. And it's not just because of the strike, but it is also because of the fatigue of our dollars. We're not paying to see things anymore, and they're feeling the effect. You know, in the past, they would look at it and they're like, again, back to the pie chart. They're like, this much profit. That's all profit. That is money in their pocket. They're not happy when it gets below that. And lately it's getting below that because we as consumers don't have the money to just keep throwing at their new $400 million projects, you know? And we're going to be seeing a turn. We're going to be seeing a turn soon where they start cutting down on the overall cost of everything. Because they have to. Because we're fatigued out. It used to be there was 2 or 3 projects a year that, had $200 million budgets. And we would all go see those things because they were the ones everyone was hyping up. It is now the case where there is, $50, $200 million budgets a year between TV and movie and streaming services, and half of them you can't go watch them all. You just can't. The price of a ticket's like $18. You can't go watch 20 movies at $18, plus go see maybe a few smaller movies, and then pay for your streaming services, pay for your cable package. You just can't. You have to make choices at some point. People are making those choices, and the studios are like, what the hell? Why isn't everybody going to see this big, great thing that everyone's raving about? And at the end of the day, it's like, well, because they went and saw the other great thing that you put out just 6 weeks ago that they already gave money for, Yeah. Sorry, I got on a side rant there about the stupidity of the studios. If equity members try to strike in solidarity with SAG, they can be sued by the studios. I don't know what that means. Who's equity? I don't know who they represent. Did you see Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, and Metamorpho castings? I saw some. I think I saw all of it, but I didn't really pay attention. I know it's like Nathan Fillion and a bunch of other people, but I didn't pay attention, right? Like, I don't care. So what? Who cares? Who cares until the movie comes out? 6 episodes? Okay, that's a lot of money for 6 episodes, man. That's a lot of money for 10 episodes. That's a lot of money for 12 episodes. 6 episodes, that's just stupid. I've had McDonald's while watching this, chicken nuggets and junior chicken and fries. That's an alright combo. I get chicken McNuggets probably once a month, sometimes twice if I'm lazy. A junior chicken, so that's like kind of like what a McChicken but smaller, I guess. I used to like McChickens. Usually now my order, if I go to McDonald's now, is usually 10-piece nugget and a Big Mac. That's usually my order now. But I used to like McChickens a lot. James Gunn is sort of a unique situation, isn't he? He's a studio head as co-CEO of DC Studios, but also a writer in the WGA. Well, there's a lot of people that are that probably have similar situations. I think James Gunn, you're right, would be the most unique of them. But there's probably a couple of others. Maybe, I don't know. No, you might be right. He might be in a unique situation. I don't know. I'd have to actually think about it. Not enough people watching to support these large budgets. Yeah, because we're fatigued out. They put out too many big budget things, and they still want us to pay for small things. You know, let's say, I don't know, let's say they make 10 $200 million movies a year. They then want you to buy their streaming service at like $15. They want you to buy their some platinum package that gets an extra thing for like an extra $7. That's almost $200 a year just for one company. Then you put on the extra one. Say you want to also get Netflix. You want to get Disney Plus. You want to get whatever CBS's version is. You know, you're now looking at $250 plus whatever movies those companies put out in a year. You're talking $500 plus a year in entertainment expenses. That's assuming you never ever go to see a movie or a concert or a sporting event. You're talking $400 or $500. They want you to spend $400 or $500 just on TV and movies. They don't want you going out to concerts. They don't want you going out to sporting events. They don't want you buying a book. They don't want you buying any other form of entertainment but TV and movies. And they're confused why we're not giving them all our money. They still live in the 80s. Studio execs are notoriously behind the times. Bob Iger has been around since I was a kid. I don't know how this guy still has a job. They live in the 80s. They think whatever happened in the 80s will still work today. Music execs are the same way. They also live in the 80s and think things will still work the way that things worked in the 80s. They refuse to catch up to the times. And then we all have these problems because, you know, they don't understand anything. James Gunn is manipulated by WB. Well, he is WB. Are any of the Marvel Disney Plus shows rewatchable? I don't know. Same here. I'm from Canada too, but Toronto. I've been to Toronto a lot. I used to go every year for TIFF, but I haven't been there now since 2018, I want to say. It's been a few years, maybe 2019. I can't remember now. But yeah, it's a good thing that I only subscribe to 2 streaming services, and that's Max and Disney Plus. LOL, at least when a price increase happens, it doesn't hit me too hard. Well, you're right, but at the end of the day, you are not taking into how many movies do you go see a year? You know? Do you have a cable package? You know? Increase in prices will probably cause the little streaming services to collapse and merge. Please let that be the case, but it probably won't for a little while. Again, I just finished saying how slow studios are to adapt to change. They are going to just fight tooth and nail until there's nothing left to save before they give up on something they think there's possibility of making money on. Now that I'm caught up to the chat, guys, I'm going to show you a little something. A little art project I made the other day. This is a list of things that you will not see actors doing during the strike. These are things actors are legally not allowed to do during the strike. It's a long list. All right, let me try and zoom that up for you a little bit. All right, so Variety made this list. I just piggybacked off it. I put it all on one screen so it was easier for everyone to see. All right, so we'll get over the obvious stuff. Can't do any acting, singing, dancing, performing, piloting, puppeteering, stuff like that. ADR, voice acting, narration, stunt coordination, background, stand-in, photos, fittings, rehearsals, scanning, interviews, and auditions. Anything to do with the acting side of the job? No. These are other things they also are not allowed to take part in, and these are the ones, some of these surprised me. I expected interviews to be on this list. I expected festivals to be on this list. I expected for your consideration events to be on the list. I expected premieres and screenings to be on the list. I expected award shows. I expected junkets. I did not expect social media. They're saying you're not allowed to be doing any social media content. I did not expect fan expos and festivals or tours, anything like that. Literally any event where you could possibly interact, be seen, or possibly make some type of appearance, you're not allowed to do. Can't go do an autograph signing, can't go do a photo op, you can't do anything anywhere. I was really surprised how thorough this list was. They are not messing around. Fan expos is great news for me. I am overjoyed that they're not allowed to do fan expos. That's better money for me. But a lot of these other ones, I'm surprised by. You know, social media, that one surprised me. You'd think they'd want to take advantage of social media and be out there, like riling up their fans to like support them in the thing. But that's an interesting one. I wonder if there's like certain social media guidelines they have to avoid. Because I think a blanket social media one, for me, sounds almost impossible to navigate. But this is technically what they're not allowed to do. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little quick look at that. Yeah, no social media. Yeah, I was really surprised by that one. Without promotion, Blue Beetle will die. Well, Blue Beetle's going to die anyways. Let's be honest, that's a movie that was never going to like be a super mega hit. If anything, it's probably going to do them benefit because now they're not paying out money promoting it like with big events, right? It's going to have to be a word of mouth thing, and that might help them. It probably won't, but you know, whatever. What if a fan comes up to an actor on the street and asks for an autograph? Would that be allowed? Technically, yes, but that I can tell you right now, there's already been a case of it. And this was before the strike happened, let me tell you, because this was the night before the strike was called. Robert Downey Jr. told a autograph collector, I can't sign for you because of the strike. And that was before the strike had happened. Now, to be fair, Robert Downey Jr. is a fucking prick and doesn't sign anyways. He just was using it as an excuse. And a lot of other assholes are going to use the strike as an excuse. They're going to be like, oh, I can't do any fan engagement. They're going to use that as an excuse. Now, if you get someone really nice, they're going to be like, yeah, fuck it. This is on my own personal time. I'm still going to sign. But you're going to get a lot of actors that are already assholes that are going to use this as an excuse to be an asshole. Maybe. I don't know what the maybe was in reference to. What's up, CG? How long do you think the strike will last? I went over this a little while ago, Scott. I think the actors one will get solved sometime in the summer. And then the writers, I don't think we see a resolution to that until the fall because they have bigger stuff they're fighting for. And they're also usually I mean, if you're a studio and you're going to pick a battle to try and finish first, you're going to go with the actors over the writers. Have I met Graham Greene? Maybe. I mean, he's Canadian, so I mean, he's around all the time. But he's such a I know in Canadian culture he's like a big deal, but he's nothing to me. Like I can't tell you a single project he's ever done in my life, even though I know he's like a big deal in Canada. So I might have met him, but I just didn't know who he was and didn't care. Um, some random TMZ account was just here. What do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying, man. Um, what kind of a discussions, if you had to guess, the CEOs having about this? Uh, CEOs are probably not really discussing amongst themselves. They have representatives that they tell the representatives, "This is what I want," and the representatives might talk to each other, but they aren't talking to each other. Bob Iger isn't getting on the phone to James Gunn and David Zaslav and being like, "I think we got to do this." He's getting some stiff that works in his office to go contact some stiff that works at their office to be like, "I think we should do this." You know, J.K. Rowling would probably use an excuse. Well, she's not an actor. She's also not a writer. Um, I'm actually going to a con tomorrow. I guess all the guests have to cancel. Yeah. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. All of the SAG AFTRA actors have to cancel. If it's a Canadian actor or a British actor or a cartoonist, writer, drawer, things like that can still go. But anyone that is a SAG AFTRA actor is canceling. Like there's one this weekend in Montreal that has a big list of people. It's like got Tom Welling, Kristen Kruk, Stephen Amell, a bunch of people like that. And as of yesterday, I haven't seen anything from them, like anything from the convention saying that these people had canceled yet. You know, it sucks even more. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look through my history to find out what that was. And that was yesterday. Yesterday. It was. Which convention was it? That one. Okay, let's see if they've said anything today. Because it literally starts like today or tomorrow. They have not tweeted about it yet. That's funny. That is really funny. Um, I need the English version, thank you. Guests. All guests. As of right now, they don't show any of the guests as canceled yet, which is kind of interesting. It's late enough in the day that people should already have done events. I wonder if I can find like a social media hashtag or something that people are using for it. Montreal. I'm getting warm here. It's starting to get into the I'm sweating part of the day. All right, yeah. Gail Simone, don't care. Um, okay, so far, I can't find anyone. It's very hard to find any information on here. All people are posting is just random. I'm at the convention shit. No one's got photo ops with anyone or anything of interest. And a lot of it's in French, obviously, so that's making it even harder for me to try and read. But I haven't seen a single photo op on here, which is very interesting. Like, not even with, like, unknown people. Sorry for anyone that's, like, sitting here, like, asking a question or anything. I'm trying to find an answer to if celebrities are actually showing up to it or not. Because so far, all I see is a lot of photos of people just being like, I'm at the convention, and nobody talking about meeting anyone. Who's supposed to be on today? There was some people that were supposed to be on today. Give me a moment. Yeah, that's a canceled list. Saturday, Friday, but you're someone I don't even know. I need actors. Back to the actors list. Top of the page. Okay. Tom Welling was today. I haven't seen any posts about Tom Welling. I don't know who you are. Billy Boyd was today. Don't know who you are. Don't know who you are. No idea. Erica Durance was today. So Tom Welling, Erica Durance, Grace Van Dien, John Barrowman, John Glover, Kristen Kruk, Jonathan Frakes, Lance Henriksen, Laura Vandervoort, Michael Bion, and Trish Stratus. Those are all people that were supposed to be on Friday, and I can't see any post with anyone being like, oh my god, I met so-and-so with that, like, Montreal Comic-Con tag in it. I'm just going to try Tom Welling, see if anyone had anything. Because it's already 6:30 p.m. in Montreal, so they would have already done their first day stuff. Let's add Montreal to the list. Yeah, see, no one's tweeting about this. Like, nobody. Hold on, let me pull up what I'm looking at here, guys. Sorry, I know I have been away from the chat for a minute. I'm just trying to find the answer to this because I am very curious. All right. So Tom Welling, if he was doing a convention today, because he's supposed to be there today, you would expect dozens of posts of like, oh my god, I saw Tom Welling at the thing 7 hours ago. One person was like, does anyone know if the actors had to cancel the appearances in Montreal? 8 hours ago, someone's like, Tom Welling from Lucifer is here in Montreal this weekend, but it doesn't say they went to the event. That was just them probably reading it from somewhere else. Let's try. Who else did I say was at it? Erica Durant. Nothing. Nothing about her. Let's get that out of the way so I can see. They are there. They are there. They are there. Why in the hell is there no post about anybody else? That's fascinating. Okay, I'm really curious now what all that ruckus on Variety was about then. Because Variety outright posted that thing. I was like, oh, they can't do fan conventions. And I was like, I'm a little surprised by that, but I was happy for it because it would have been better for my business, but interesting. Where was I? I forgot where I was in the conversation now. How do you think the audiences will react to content that doesn't have that $200 million budget quality? They won't care one way or the other. The only group of people in the world who ever cares about how much a movie costs are comic book fans. Only people. Only people in the world that give a shit what the price of a movie costs. They've got this delusion that the rest of the world is not going to go see a movie if it costs 150 million instead of 200 million. That's not how the majority of people think. The majority of people think, hey, that trailer looked cool. I'm going to go see that. That's as far as they thought. You know? I saw Kevin Smith around. He isn't handing out Tim's during the strike. Yeah, well, he also had a heart attack a while ago, so he's probably cut out doing donuts. Did I see the Ahsoka trailer? No. I saw everyone posting about it, but I haven't watched it. CML's Canadian Arrow Season 9, let's go. No. Kristen Kruk as in Lana Lang. Yes. What if the members don't agree with the strike? Do personal feelings not matter? That is why you're part of a union, and you decide as a collective to do something. Doesn't matter if you think the deal suits you. You are part of a collective. The collective as a whole has to agree to the deal. That's how it works. I could definitely see Superman and Lois being fall 2024. Yeah, we talked about this a little while ago, Scott. So do I. I used to think Kevin Smith was Canadian. Okay. Captain America 4 wrapped filming before strike started, but Deadpool 3 was still filming. Yeah. I knew Comic-Con and other conventions were off limits for actors unless they're picketing outside. Well, I just saw proof that Erica Durance was apparently at one with Laura Vandervoort, so now I'm confused. How do you feel about this Barbie movie? I have no feeling about it. I'm obviously never going to see it, because who the fuck would go watch it? You recommended Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Yeah, I mean, Mission Impossible is a great movie, right? If you've ever watched one Mission Impossible, you know they deliver. There's never a bad Mission Impossible movie. I can't even think of a bad Mission Impossible movie. Are there better ones? Sure, probably. But there's never a bad one. And this one's the exact same. Fun, action-packed. I think the movie as a whole is 15 to 25 minutes longer than it needs to be. I think there's some huge pieces that they could have cut out 2 to 4 minutes at a time out of that could have cut down the runtime. But for the most part, great throughout. And Gary wants to know, do you think Superman will get a season 5? Right now, we can't. Impossible to say, Gary. Really impossible to say. Can't tell you until we have any idea what's going on with season 4. And that's a year away. I won't have an answer for you on that for a year, Gary. Where was I? I watched Dead Reckoning and loved it, but I think Ghost Protocol is still the best. Fair enough. Very fair. I have a hard time remembering which one is which, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, number 6 is better than number 4, and number 4 is better than number 5, and I'm just going to be like, they're all very good. Yeah. Would you want to see a Marvel film directed and written by Mark Guggenheim? No, of course not. Will you watch the Marvels? The further and further along it goes, no. I know right after Miss Marvel came out, I said I would give it a chance, but the further away it is from that project, the less I give a fuck about it. I mean, I already hate Brie Larson, so that's a huge no against it. I was only giving it a chance because Miss Marvel was good, but that is so far out of my periphery now that they would need something else to bring me back in now. Did you like the Batman movie, and do you feel the same about the runtimes as you do with Mission Impossible? Yeah, runtimes are getting way out of hand on most movies. Yeah. Because Protocol is the one with the Dubai stunt. Oh, yeah. I think the first 3 Mission Impossible movies are the weakest. But you're comparing the weakest out of all great. Like, if I offer you a cheeseburger, a double cheeseburger, a cheeseburger with bacon, a double cheeseburger with bacon, uh, a triple cheeseburger. You're probably like, oh, those are all very delicious. But one of them is probably better than the other one, but they're all still in the B plus or better category, right? You're nitpicking the difference between great and exceptionally good. You know? Did I see the Flash film? Yeah. I went to an advanced screening. Which DC actors do I hate? You can look on my website to find that list. The worst of something good is still good. Exactly. You hate Gal Gadot's acting? All right. Duly noted. All right, guys. I've caught up to the chat. I don't know. Is there anything else to talk about today? Superman Lois season 4 is definitely the final season. Says who? Scott says who? Or are you saying that as your opinion on the matter? It could, Gary, but it will not. There is a timeline out there somewhere where Superman and Lois gets 15 seasons, but it is not this timeline. I am sorry to say, Gary. Sorry to say. Will you see Wonka? I don't know what that is. I think Ana de Armas should play the next Wonder Woman. I know that name. I just can't say I remember who it is. Give me a second. I can see what it is. I mean, she's already 35. If she started a career as Wonder Woman now, she'd be in her 40s by like the first or second film. So no, she is too old to be Wonder Woman now. What is Gal Gadot's age? Gal Gadot is actually older than her, but she's been already Wonder Woman for like 10 years. So, you know, no, you need someone younger than 35 to start the franchise. Tyler is on both of my lists? Shut up, really? That'd be pretty funny. I mean, it's entirely possible because there was a time where I'm sure you've heard me complain about him before. Where's the end of my list? Oh, that's music. Oops. You're right. Thank you for letting me know. I will change that right now. There was a time where he wasn't the best, so that was part of the reason why he was on that list. But he is off that part of the list now. Thank you for letting me know, man. Sometimes I just miss things like that, right? All right. I have a Gary question here. Let me see what Gary has to say. What would be the most seasons Superman would get? 5. I think the best you can hope for is 5. Isabella Vidovic should play Supergirl in the DCU. They already have someone. They have Sasha Calle. I'm going to be annoyed if they recast Sasha Calle after one appearance. I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything against her, but I also can't, like, I don't look at her and be like, oh my gosh, she has to be Supergirl. She's just another random actress, right? Like, there's nothing special about her. Like, she could, you know what she does look like? She does look a little bit like Melissa Benoist, which is a good reason not to cast her, because we already had a Melissa Benoist Supergirl. She looks a little bit like she could be related to Melissa Benoist. But we already had Melissa Benoist as Supergirl, so we don't need that version again. I'm going to have to jet. All right, have a good one, Lionel. I hope you feel better soon. I think they recast Sasha. They might, but they shouldn't. Gunn wants a blonde Supergirl for Women of Tomorrow. Oh, did he say that? Is that a quote somewhere? Do you have a source of that quote? I mean, Sasha Calle appeared in the Flash movie, which was the biggest flop in comic book history. Yeah, and that was totally on Sasha Calle's back. Yeah, she's the one that went on a rampage in Hawaii. you know, let's point the finger to where that belongs. Okay. Ahsoka's 8 episodes. Okay. No, Gunn didn't say that. Okay. Is Bitsy nice? The time I met her, yeah, she seemed nice. Now that said, she has given me some unthrilled glares when I'm photographing her on set, but when she signed for me, she was really nice. You've seen an article on Collider. Can you link the article, or at least tell me the title of the article? Because I have not heard anything about that. Let me see if I can find it myself. James Gunn, Supergirl Collider. Is this from June 8th? I don't see any quotes in here from James Gunn. There is not a single quote in here from James Gunn. If that is the article you're talking about, nothing in there is from James Gunn. Not anytime soon, Gary. I think the failure of this one, they're gonna wait until they're gonna weigh their options and decide who they recast first. They're gonna recast that character, I think, and then maybe 4 to 6 years down the line, they might consider starting a new project. But you're gonna be waiting 6 to 10 years for one, man. It's gonna be a while, Gary. Gonna definitely be a while on that. Have I ever met Jonathan Frakes or Jeannie Francis? Well, Jeannie Francis was only on a soap opera. I don't think she ever did any work outside of that. I know she's dead now, so I can't meet her, but I think she really only ever worked on a soap opera. Yeah, General Hospital, yeah. Wait, I thought she died for some reason. Maybe I mistook her with someone else. Never mind. I apparently have mistaken her with someone else. Laura Spencer. I swear she's passed away. Who am I thinking of? I swear she passed away. Apparently not. But no, I've never met her. I swear she passed away. Why did I think that? Weird. For some reason, I swore she had passed away, but apparently not. Jonathan Frakes. Let me look at this guy's IMDb, see if I know him from anything. Looks like he's in a bunch of Star Trek stuff. But did he do anything that people would actually watch? Yeah, I don't think so. I know I've heard his name a few times, but I couldn't have told you anything he'd ever done until I just looked up his IMDb. It's also an article saying James Gunn knew Arrowverse was a limited franchise. What do you mean? You gotta start sourcing your stuff, man, because that doesn't sound like a real quote. Because limited franchise, would be something like a 2 or 3 year run, and they definitely grossly exceeded that. I think Sasha Calle should get her own movie, but I think the Flash movie performance might cause her to be caught in collateral damage. So do I, but I think it'll be a crime if it happened. Will there be an Atom spinoff with Osric Chow? No, of course not. All right. I'm going to type in the chat everyone's favorite comic, because I did tell one of my buddies that I would see him at maybe like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, so I should start getting ready for that, because it's almost 4 now. So we know what's coming. Any last comments? ... Get them in now. If you don't get them in before I send this post ... You may not get an answer to them unless it's a super chat. So this is me sending the post right ... now, quotation brackets. By the time you hear me say this, it's already sent. Apparently I typed so much it cut it into 2 different comments. That's funny. Oh, that's so fucked up. On the YouTube screen, it looks backwards. On StreamYard, it's in the right order. Okay, that's weird. Anyways, you guys can read. How are you? How is GeoGuessr? I'm frustrated with GeoGuessr lately, but how am I? Okay. How are you doing, heroes? You're getting here basically right at the end. We should have seen Arrowverse Justice League again after Crisis. Well, blame COVID, blame the CW, blame Discovery, blame all of them. You're 3 hours in the future. Sounds about right if you're in the East. If you're in anywhere else, that would be weird. Okay, guys, I have caught up to the chat. We are done for today. I think we made some progress. We solved the biggest problem, which was me drawing pie charts. I think we now know that is not in my skill set. And that is it for today. Should we blame Eric Wallace for the Flash? You can definitely give him some of the blame. Like I said earlier, there's enough blame to go around. Writers, you can give like 20 or 30%. Eric Wallace, you can give like 20 or 30%. Studio, you can give like 20 or 30%. Actors, you can give like 20 or 30%. There's enough to go around. But that's it for today, guys. So we are going to wrap this up now. And I don't know when my next one will be. So we will have to wait and see on that. Could be tomorrow. Could be 2 weeks from now. I mean, Mike's schedule has been very inconsistent with nothing to do. So we'll see. But till then, I will see you in the future. Unless you are watching this in the future, then it could be the past. Bye.